In the online coaching and hypnosis space, it is so easy to fall for these shiny objects, right? The next healing modality, the best technique, do this so that you have instant XYZ, right? It's so easy to fall for that. And especially as coaches and hypnotists who are incredibly fascinated and love working with the mind and the subconscious mind, and we have this passion for it. It is so easy to fall for the next best technique, right? The next thing to learn, the next new thing to want to have in your toolbox. And I definitely fell for this. And this is what happened to help me stop it. And so this is going to be a bit ironic because I did find a new method, but this method was actually what helped me stop with these shiny object syndrome in terms of healing modalities. So obviously I love the mind. I am a hypnotist. That's how I came about into this coaching world. I know that it's extremely powerful, studied traditional hypnosis, NLP, EFT, and other subconscious release techniques. And although all of those have been extremely helpful, it kind of like all of those techniques still didn't really fully hit the spot. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of like, yes, this is great. I have all these tools in the toolkit, but there were some clients where I was just like, I really don't know what to do with them, right? Like they'd be like sitting in front of me and then I'd have the tools, but then, and use the tools, but then I was like, I felt like I could do something more for them. Not that I didn't give them results, because they did get results because the methods that I was using were powerful, but it was like, I think that I could do more. And also, I was like, I think I can do less for myself too. I didn't really want to prep that much. I didn't want to take so much time off my time and of their time. And I really looked for a way that I could be efficient in my delivery process in terms of me not putting extra hours in, as well as my clients not having to do more things either during our session and outside our session. And of course, ask and you shall receive, right? And then, so I finally found this method, which is advanced conversational hypnosis, which is now I'm a trainer. And I swear, since I found this method, I stopped looking for any other like hypnotic or subconscious rewiring modalities. And here is why. ACH works with principles instead of techniques. So there are principles that govern how we as humans think, feel, act, perceive ourselves in an identity level, right? There are principles as to how to create client breakthroughs at a subconscious level. There are principles as to how to work with the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And there are principles as to which how our clients are going to respond to the questions we ask and the sessions that we ask. I mean, and the questions that we ask and the sessions that we have with them. And when you start learning these foundational principles, then you won't need any other techniques. Why? Because the technique of regression, timeline, fast phobia cure and from NLP, the swish method, the dissociation method for NLP, EFT, their I said regression, past life regression, and what else? Inner child healing. All of those techniques are governed by certain principles as to how the mind works and how neuroscience work and how to create oops, and how to rewire your subconscious. It's a mess here. So there are principles that govern those techniques. So the thing is, when you learn certain techniques, those techniques come from a principle or several principles, right? So when you have, say, 5 techniques that you're using, 5 things that you are trained in, each of those techniques have a limitation to them. Why? Because not all techniques work for everyone, right? It's kind of like marketing. Not everyone is works well with video. Not all clients are going to respond well to video. Not everyone is going to respond to posts. Not everyone is going to want to answer your questions. There's different types, right? And there's power in being able to learn foundational principles so that you can actually have the creativity and ability to shift depending on who you are working with. And so, like I said, I had a lot of shiny object syndrome, and I was trained in several modalities, subconscious and energetic healing modalities. But because, like, the reason why I really wanted more and I kept falling for that shiny object was because I knew that I was missing the principles. I am very much someone who wants to know and kind of needs to know how things work, like why things are the way they are. That's just how my brain works, right? And if that part of my brain isn't satisfied, I'm going to look for those things. So, since working with principles, I have been able to stop looking for those shiny objects because now that I work with principles, I have unlimited techniques, right? Because all techniques come from principles. And because I knew the principles, I no longer needed to reach for the next best thing because I know that that next best thing is because of underlying principles that I already knew, right? And so this was, truly amazing because it's not like I was technically trained for something like past life regression. However, using ACH principles, I had a client regress to a past life spontaneously, and I knew exactly what to do with it and how to deal with that. Not because I learned past life, but because I knew the principles as to how the mind works and how to deal with um, client when certain things come up that you just didn't expect. Like I didn't expect her to go back to a past life, right? That was wild. This is pretty cool. Because in our sessions never really go the way we expected, right? We can't really predict what the mind gives us. So, what is the point in preparing for techniques when you can just learn the principles and then be present with your client and just listen to them? This creates the actual present being in the moment with your client because you are able to actually just pick up the techniques and I mean not the techniques but like use the principles that you have and rely on rigid techniques like from A to Z as to what you're going to do and being worried about going A to B to C to D and oh my god I missed C or I did C wrong shit like I gotta go back and now the whole session is ruined, right? It's not about that. It's not the rigidity of that. When you learn ACH principles you just are able to put less pressure on yourself and just go with the flow because there's less pressure on you, there's less pressure on the client, the client coach or hypnotist relationship becomes very much more meaningful and you get your breakthroughs faster with your clients because of this. So therefore it is more fulfilling for you. It is a better experience for your client because you are meeting them where they're at. You're not putting them in a box of, I got you. I'm just going to do regression today. I'm just going to do regression today, or I'm just going to talk about metaphors and stories today. You're not doing that. You are allowing the client you are setting the parameters for the client to solve their own problem, whether that be metaphorical, whether it be past life, whether they float about their timeline, whether it be they need to talk to their inner child. It doesn't really matter because you are just listening to the client because not every client wants to go to a past life. Not every client wants to float above their timeline. Some people can't even visualize that. Not a lot of people want to work on inner child stuff, right? Some people don't believe in that. So when you are able to actually just use the principles, then you can work with anyone and have the confidence to work with anyone. I apologize for things, falling here, but I hope that this video helps. If you have any questions, let me know and I will see you soon.